Good evening. Welcome to Vibin with Ashley Live. I'm your host, Ashley Live, and this is episode 255 of my show. I am so excited to bring back tonight's guest. She was on my show quite a few years ago, episode 198, which was July 2023, which such a long time ago, and we have so much to catch up on. So please welcome back Jaclyn Kenyon, a Canadian rock artist known for her powerhouse vocals and emotionally raw songwriting. With over a decade in the music industry, she shared the stage with acts like Nickelback and won the Access TV show Bandit in 2022. Now stepping into a bold new chapter, Jaclyn released her latest single, Scars, in March and performed at the Roots North Music Festival in Ontario last night. So Jaclyn is in the house. I'm going to bring her onto the stage and get this party started.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, Jaclyn. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so very excited to bring you back on the show. As I said earlier, you were on my show July 2023, which, girl, that's a long time. I feel like a lot has happened, right?
Crazy. A lot has happened. It's felt like so long, but also so short, and it's kind of concerning how quick time goes by.
Oh my gosh. I feel like the older we get, time just flies, right? Like the older I get, I blink and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Christmas.
I know. It's crazy. I want it to stop, but it's nuts. It's been a wild journey the last 3 years.
Yes, it definitely has. So I just want to hop right in here because I feel like there's so much that we need to dig into. You talk a lot about stepping into a new chapter in your life. So talk about this new beginning. What does it look like for you, both personally as well as artistically?
Yeah, I love that. This new beginning for me has been one that I have been really trying to figure out for a long time. It's the most honest chapter of my life with my music and where I'm at personally. There's just been so many different things that I've been through in this music industry since being in it from 12 years old to now 29. And I really was trying to figure out what my place was in it all and what my purpose was in it all. And I've tried so many different genres and things, and I never felt like it was authentically me until this year. And so I'm out with this whole entire chapter called Scars, and it's been so exciting for me, and I can't wait to release it. We just had the very first single drop March 26th, and it's been just a very beautiful process for me. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like stepping into your new era, right? Like 2026, this is your year. This is where,
Yes.
and I feel like as an artist sometimes, right, you struggle with the identity of like, what do I want my sound to be? What do I want my look to be? Right. And so it's like, you feel like you're at that point where like people can authentically be, like, say, I know who Jaclyn is.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I guess tell me a little bit about how that sound has evolved over time, because I know that you opened for Nickelback a couple
I
summers
did.
ago. So I would love to talk about that. Like, bring us back to that time where you knew you were opening, and then like what happened, on stage and then afterwards.
Yeah, so it was really cool because I got the message from, it was called Ottawa Blues Fest, where I opened for them. And I got this message saying, like, welcome, you're a part of the lineup this year. And I was like, oh, that's sick, amazing. And they never had shared what stage I was going to be on or what artist I was going to be with until 2 weeks before. And I saw Soundcheck, Jaclyn Kenyon, Nickelback, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is insane. And it was such a cool process. I always grew up on rock music growing up, and I loved Nickelback songs like from a little girl. And I was a little bit nervous on how our music would go together, and it was such a cool experience to see the country rock and Nickelback's rock combined with the audience, because there was so much like energy and excitement, and people were coming up to me after and just feeling like it was such a strong connection with Nickelback sound and my own sound. And so that was something really cool for me to see because I was nervous about it. I thought it was two different worlds, and it was really cool to see how I could do that. And it was such an amazing experience. I shared the stage with them and got to talk to some of the band members after, and it was just incredible. I still look back and I'm like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
It's wild.
I just think it's like part of your story though, right? Because it's like sometimes when an opportunity comes and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to do it, right? And then you do it and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm just going to
No
like
idea.
give it my best shot. And to say that you opened up for Nickelback, and even looking back on this now you see country rock be, I mean, you
Oh,
hear like Jelly Roll on rock radio, and I feel like there are a lot of people that are doing the country rock thing and it has caught on, but I feel like maybe during that time it was still kind of one of those things where people didn't know, right?
I agree with you. It was still very new. And it's interesting in any music genre you're in. It's like, okay, is that too country for rock or is that too rock for country? And it was always kind of a weird lane. But artists like Hardy and even Nickelback, some of their stuff seems a little bit crossover. It's cool to see that happening, and Shania Twain as well. She just allowed music to evolve into something like that. So it's cool. People had to take the risk to allow artists like myself to be able to even try it. So it's really interesting that there is an opportunity for it.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the two genres are very similar
Yep.
together. And like if you listen to country radio, you hear some of those rock influences. I mean,
Yep.
you can think of somebody like Chris Stapleton, right? You hear Southern rock, you hear blues. I mean, he's country as well, right? He just takes from
So
everything.
good.
I think it's not just like one genre. It's not just like rock. It's not country. It's just like I feel like artists they need to kind of like dig into that and just be like, well, this is my sound and
Yeah.
don't know what it is, but like I'm just authentically being myself.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. It's a hard spot to get to, but when you do get to it, it's like, okay, this is why nothing else worked out. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess talk about some of the other rock influences that you've had.
Yeah, so I grew up, my parents just loved 80s rock. So I grew up on all of it. But Journey was a big inspiration to me growing up, Separate Ways and Faithfully. And I just always wanted to channel that rock energy, no matter what, and no matter who was singing it, even some of the old Demi Lovato songs and
Mhm.
Miley Cyrus growing up. I know she wasn't as rock back then, but when she started doing like Fly on the Wall and going into Can't Be Tamed, I loved that era of her music. And so I've always grown up around it and been a part of it. And I immersed myself in it, and just something about rock music just brought this confidence in me that got me so excited. And I always wanted that to go into every single song that I performed and into my just attitude and stage presence. It was just always a part of me and what I thrived after.
Mhm. Yeah, I think of 80s rock. Okay. Journey is probably one of my favorite bands from the
So
80s rock era. But I think of rock music and I gotta be honest with you, I just think these rockers from the 80s, they just had a confidence, like a
they,
fearlessness that just they cannot be stopped. And when you look at genres, right, you think of all this other music from like the 80s
yeah,
and there was something about rock music though, where you're just unapologetically yourself. You can say whatever you want to say. And it's a fearlessness where I just don't feel like the other genres like are
it's
like that.
true.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, it's very true. It's almost like they're saying the things that you're scared to say, or the other industries and genres are scared to say. And it's a confidence thing. And I love that you touched on that too, because even growing up, like I loved artists that were breaking the mold. I loved Michael Jackson, and again, like Shania, she was doing something so different, but all of them had a persona or an image about them that attracted people to them. And I think that's what I always looked at when I was a kid, even just what is it that makes them who they are? Why can they do that, and why is it so unique to them? And it wasn't just their voice, it was everything.
Hmm.
So I love that.
Yeah, yeah. Michael Jackson, obviously one of the greatest of all time.
Oh,
I remember when Shania came out, and I was like, wait, but she's country. And then I saw her music videos. I'm like, whoa, wait, but she's pop. And then like I remember being in school and everybody singing like, man, I feel like a woman and like all these songs. I was like, whoa, wait, this is like country pop. I feel like she was probably one of the first to kind of do that crossover of country pop. And I was like, this is so cool that she's doing that and she kind of made that lane for herself.
Yeah, it's a hard lane to make.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's difficult, especially as a female in that industry. It's crazy. So yeah, it's amazing. I love seeing that. I love artists breaking that mold, and just with this project, I was like, I wanna do that the best that I can, and try in a way that's authentic to me. And I don't know what genre that's gonna fall in. I'm just gonna do what I love doing.
Yeah. And I just think sometimes it needs to be genreless, right? Like you
Yeah.
just need to do what you feel and then just go with it. And I don't really think people even listen to genres anymore. They just listen to good music that they love, that they resonate with. And I feel like most people resonate more with the lyrics than like, oh my God, this is like R&B or this is pop or this is rock or this is country. It's just kind of like if I like a good song,
Yeah.
it's a good song. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm hoping for that too, because it seems like it is like that, and Spotify's opening the doors to just be like, oh, well, my playlist is all over the place. Like I have like rap on there, country, pop,
Yeah,
everything. It's just whatever mood you're feeling in, or a good song's a good song.
definitely. So I want to talk about you teaching at a music school. So I would love to kind of dig into this experience and talk about what that meant for you impacting these kids, but also what it felt like for you personally.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started teaching at this music school where I live for 2 years now, and it was just an experience for me that was it was a different experience because I had taught music in the past to just like a very few artists that I really believed in and wanted to help and support, because I had that support when I was younger from a lot of people, and I just wanted to give back that way. But this was a little bit different because I couldn't release music for 2 years, and I was looking for something to do in that time. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna teach again because I love kids, I love music, I love empowering the
Mhm.
next generation. And so I started teaching at this studio, and it ended up being 5 kids that I started with, and it turned into 30, and it's just this big thing. But I would be lying if I told you my life was in a happy place at that moment. I was very broken, and I was very upset about the music industry and so many things that were going on in my life, even just personally.
Mhm.
And so I was really trying to just find my spark again. And these kids, when I saw, the industry in a whole different light, just music in general. I know they're not in the music industry yet; they're like 8, but just it's so different when you just see someone do what they love doing, because that's how I started. I started doing it because I just loved it. And then you start getting all these voices and all these opinions and all these things, and you start changing and you start losing that spark. And I could see that spark go in myself going back. And I was just like, man, like I got this all wrong. Like I got to come back to this, and I got to do what I love doing. And in particular, there's this one little girl, I won't say her name, but she comes in every single class and she opens her notebook and she just writes whatever's going on in her heart or at her school that day. And she doesn't care what she's saying or what's in there. She's just writing from her life. And I could just see this little girl come in sad and leave happy because she just wrote a song about it. And I was like, that is the most powerful thing, that music can change somebody and speak to someone. And so for myself as a teacher, it became more about them teaching me, to be quite honest with you. And I started looking at it so differently, and that's really where scars started growing from, was getting my passion for music back through teaching these kids.
Mhm. That is so powerful. And I think sometimes when we're in difficult parts of our lives, right? They always say, I feel like people, when they say that they go through difficult times, to help other people.
Yeah.
right? Because it's like maybe you can't help yourself and maybe you're going through difficult things, but you're a light to other people. They don't even have to know what's happening. But then when you're a light and you're just helping these kids and then you're like, "Oh my gosh, they're kind of healing this part of me."
Yeah.
And I'm able to see what I'm going through just kind of in a different lens because right, you said they're 8, so like,
Yeah.
they're very young kids, right? But then you see them you see music in one light and then you see it through the eyes of these kids and you're like, oh, but this one girl, she just like writes what's going on, or maybe she hears a song on the radio and she's like, oh my god, I love that song, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, like to have the joy of an 8-year-old
Yeah.
is, I think when people have kids they say this too, they're like, oh my gosh, I see everything through my kids eyes and I'm just so much more appreciative of life in general, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
it through the eyes of children.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. And looking back, I'm like, oh, okay, like, yeah, I can see how that would work. But it's such a beautiful thing when you're in it and you're just like, okay, like we come on this earth for a purpose. We all have gifts and talents, and like that's what it's about. It's just about doing that. And I had lost that part of me for so long. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was so beautiful to see it through a child. Like just to be like, oh, keep going. Like don't let anyone change you. Just keep writing, keep going. And I feel like when I was giving advice there, I was just speaking to myself half the time. So it was a really, really, really cool, refreshing experience that I just never thought was possible.
Mm-hmm. And then you think about it, like when you were a kid,
Mm-hmm.
who were teachers that influenced you,
Mm,
right? And
yeah,
then you think of like, oh, my second grade teacher, or oh, like my band teacher, or whatever it might be, right? And I feel like as kids, there were teachers that influenced us. So
yeah.
the influence that you're having on these kids, it'll be interesting to see what they do with it 5, 10 years from now. They're gonna be like, well, I had this amazing teacher. So that's gonna be awesome to see too.
I would love that so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Scars. Uh,
Yes.
a very vulnerable song.
Mhm.
I would love to talk about the moment or the feeling that sparked Scars.
Cool. So this was a really cool moment for me. So I was teaching, I was in my room, and I just had this moment. And it was just like, okay, you're turning at the time. I was turning 28, and I'm like, okay, you're getting out of your 20s soon. And you're at this spot in your music career where everything was going full speed 100 before, and now you're at 0. And you can make a decision. You can either sit in this sadness and you can just go, you know what, it is what it is. I've tried. I'm going to go into a different profession. Like I could easily, if I wanted to, I was thinking sit in this room and I could teach for the rest of my life. But is that what I truly want to do? And my heart was just like, no. I feel like I'm built for more. And I would be really sad, to be honest, if that was all that I was doing, because I know that it's so fulfilling, and I know it's beautiful to teach and inspire, but I just don't feel like that's what I'm supposed to be doing full term in my life. And I got a pen and paper out and I wrote scars, intermission, and backroads on this paper. And I was like, if I were to ever do an album where it was just totally authentically me, that's what I would call it. And those were the three titles that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started really sitting down and thinking about it, and I was like, okay, if I was to do this again and get the strength to go back into the music industry after all this stuff happened, what would I want to do and what would that look like? And I just started just going back on my phone and looking at songs that were some of my favorite songs. There's also songs that I knew still had to be written, but I pulled 3 songs in particular out and I wrote them down on this paper, and I started realizing all the themes of those songs fit with Scars the
Mm.
most. And I was like, interesting. Okay. And so it was just this really cool moment that I have with myself in the studio. And I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go for this and I'm going to put my all into it. And I'm going to use what broke me to heal me, really. And I'm going to start talking about it. And so that's what I did. And it was all in a matter of 2 months from when I wrote this down in my studio to actually reaching out and finding producers and recording it. It was just so quick. And I remember going home to my family too, and my husband, they're like, are you crazy? Like you're gonna do this this quick? Like, are you sure you don't want to think about this? I'm like, no, I have to do this. I have to do this. And so I did, and I haven't looked back since, and it's been the most amazing experience. And um, yeah, I it was crazy how it all came together.
Hmm. I want to circle back on something you said. Use what broke you
Mm,
to heal you, which, right? You take this feeling that you feel, and then you write it,
yeah,
right? You release it. I can only imagine how terrifying it is to
yeah,
release these vulnerable emotional thoughts out into the universe. So I
hmm,
think that's very powerful to take the pain in your life and
yeah.
then use it as this vessel where you then put it in the universe. Like, what's that like to finally, I mean, it came out in March, right? So
It
it's been
did.
out for a couple of weeks. I
Yeah.
guess tell me, like, were you scared, like excited? Like, tell me about like what it was like to finally have it out, and then now as it's marinated, what it's done for you.
I was absolutely petrified, to be honest with you. Um, I was never a vulnerable person. I always tried to just hide what I was going through and be like, okay, I'm fine. Because I honestly thought that that made me strong. I thought, okay, if people don't know what's going on and I just get through it myself, then I'm strong for that. And I had that so wrong because when you sit with something and it festers in you like that, it starts coming out in so many different ways. And so I really was scared of this project. I was scared to talk about it. A lot of people knew things that had happened to me in the music industry that were also positive and exciting all the time, but no one knew the weak spots. No one knew the hard nights and a lot of things that were just really hard in my life. Also, there was a lot of personal things in my life. We had a death in our family, and you know, that just shakes you up to its core too. I never had anyone pass away in my family. That was the first time I dealt with that. So there was that, and scars of heartbreak and losing friends, and just all these things that no one tells you you're going to go through when you start reaching your late 20s. And so there was just a lot of emotional things going on for me, and the last thing I wanted to do was then come on and be like, hey, also this happened, and I'm super broken right now. And so that was the scariest thing for me. But it was interesting because I remember I played the songs at a show in Toronto, and it was the first time I had ever played any of the songs. And I was so scared. I was shaking. I couldn't even hold my guitar. My voice was like getting caught and shaking. And I don't get like that when I go on stage. I get a little nervous before, but usually after the first song, I'm like, I'm good. And I could hardly finish these songs.
Mm,
And someone came up to me after who was a really close friend, and he's like, this is going to be your best year because I've never seen you like that before. And I love it. I think, that's when you know you're doing something right, is when you're being vulnerable like that. And I was like, oh man, okay. And I just kept going with it. And each time that fear got less and less, but it's still there. It's
mhm,
really, really hard for me to release these songs, and it's a new territory for me, and I'm extremely uncomfortable
mhm.
um, all the time. And I had to do it though, because as uncomfortable as I am, there's parts of me that I just see coming back that I missed, and I love that.
Mhm. Okay, well, thank you,
Yeah.
because I don't feel like a lot of people are that honest, right? For you to say I was shaking, like I was so scared to have this music heard. Um, there are so many people that need to hear that right now, whether they're in the creative space, whether it's just whatever it might be. And I think the older you get, the more trauma just pops up when you
Yeah.
least expect it. And then you think it's going to go one way and then it goes another way. And then you're like, oh my gosh, like, how do I deal with this? How do I deal with this? But I think the way that you truly connect with people is through the trauma. Like, we all are going to deal with people that we love that leave our life,
Mhm.
right? Whether through death or just, it's a friendship ends or something like
Mhm.
that. And so those are all things that we go through multiple times in our life. And so I know it's hard for you. I know it's still hard for you. I can only, I feel weird even doing this interview with you because I'm like, I know it's hard for you to talk about it, but,
No, it's
but I feel like it's so important for you, right? Because even that close friend said to you,
mhm.
Jaclyn, like, I've never seen that side of you. And thank you for doing that. And I think when you get uncomfortable with things, that's when the most growth happens.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the weirdest thing, but yeah, I feel like parts of myself healing all the time, every single day. And I just feel like, just to be super honest, I feel like my heart had hardened so much
Mhm.
through all of those things and all those experiences where you kind of just get like resentful, And that's been the beautiful thing with scars, is knowing that other people have also been through this. We've all been through something in our life that has broken us or hurt us. And I hope that this project will just bring everybody together to be able to heal, because there's a line in the song that says, "Your damage, it ain't a damn weakness." And I believed that mine was for so long, and I didn't want to share it. But that's what makes you you. Like, that's what allows you to be able to relate to people. And I think, being in this industry, I've always just been so like polished and like proper, from being 12 and everything working out, and doors opening in my life and amazing opportunities happening. I had to break because I never had a moment in my life where something, humbly speaking, went wrong. Like, it was always just like, oh, this happened, this, and then you get to meet this person, and this happens, and awesome. And it's like, okay, this is great. Like, I must be doing the right thing because doors are opening. And it was never like, oh, okay, you have to work for that. Like,
Mhm.
that doesn't just happen. You have to break. You can't just continue, thinking life is rainbows and butterflies. Like, you got to learn some things. And so I did. Like, I didn't have a story before. I was just, doors were opening. I was walking through them, and career was building, and that was great. That was it. I had to go through this and really, really, really break to appreciate it more.
Mhm. Yeah, that's also very powerful, right? Because I feel like anybody you talk to, nobody's career is just like, oh my gosh, everything's been so good and everything was so positive. Like, you have to hit that rock bottom and
You
you have
do.
to go through stuff to really appreciate everything now. And whether it's in your career or in a personal standpoint, you're just like, oh my gosh, this sucks right now. Like, I hate this. Like, everything sucks.
Yeah.
But this is like training me for what's to come, because there's always good things around the corner. And
Yes.
you being so vulnerable about things, you're opening doors to people that have no idea who you are. And I'm sure that people have reached out to you
Yes.
and said, I heard this song, I went through this. So I guess talk to me about getting people that maybe you lost touch with, or just new people that have experienced scars on a level where you're like, oh my gosh, like, I'm saying this, it's scary, but I'm also like connecting with a community of people.
Yeah, there was a video that I had posted called "I Hate the Music Industry." Sounds
Yeah.
so hard saying it out loud, but I posted because I didn't want this project to just come out of nowhere. Like, a lot of people just saw me before doing a TV show and recording an album and living in Nashville and LA, and it all looked just so like glamorous. And then all of a sudden, she comes out with this song called "Scars." People are gonna be like, "What the heck?" So I really just wanted to tell the story in the best way that I could about my experience with the music industry and what I had went through personally in my own life as well. And the video started going viral on my Instagram, and it was one of those things where it was just very unfiltered. I was like wearing no makeup. I was drinking Tim Hortons coffee. Shout out Canada. But I just was like in this moment where I was like, okay, I just feel like I'm just going to rant and talk about it. And I'm not going to post it. I'm just going to talk about it because I want to see how it comes across. And after, I just felt like, you know what, maybe I just should post it. Like, let's just see. And when I did, it went viral, and I had so many people reaching out to me being like, hey, this happened to me too. You're not alone. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. And it was really just the first time where I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't think that I processed this enough. Like, this was actually a really horrible experience. And I can look back at that and be okay with it being a horrible experience. I don't have to just sugarcoat it and act like everything was fine. Like, it wasn't. But through that, I've met amazing people that have also been through things, and we can all support each other. And it just, I don't know, you just get this determination when, and like weight off of your shoulders when you actually just talk about what's happening. It's like, your secrets let out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a really cool experience seeing how people were reacting to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like we said earlier, like we all go through a lot of trauma,
Yeah.
and in the music industry, oh my gosh, crazy, crazy, crazy stories. Some that have been on the record here, some that have just been off camera here. But a lot of people, I hold a lot of secrets near and dear, close to my heart for some of
Yes,
the people that have
I'm
told
sure.
me. So
Yeah.
I feel your pain, and I have some people that have told me some crazy stories as well. And it's just like, and then people are like, oh my gosh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. I'm questioning what I want to do. But like you said earlier, you could be a music teacher. You could totally do it. But your calling is music. Your calling is being a
Yeah.
song performing, and you're like, I got to do this. I'm scared. I'm vulnerable. I'm terrified, but I'm going to do it. And I think that speaks volumes for who you are as an individual, because you're just like, I have this burning desire in me. Like, I got to do this, but like, I'm terrified.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's basically how my mind goes all the time and what it thinks.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's powerful to lean into that, because when a lot of people are terrified, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so terrified and I'm so scared and this and I'm vulnerable, and they just are like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna shut that off. But you were like, I'm just gonna lean into it. I'm gonna go full force. And that speaks volumes. And your story, right? The story of what you went through, the story of scars. I mean, you have this EP coming.
Yes.
Would love to talk about the EP.
Yeah. Let's
Where
chat about it.
now? I know there's a lot of things coming. Something has been teased for May 8th. So give us
Yeah.
a little insight to that.
Yeah. So there's going to be 3 singles that are going to be coming out, and then just trying to build momentum up. And then there'll be an EP drop in June. So that's coming up very soon. And that will be 3 more singles, so 6 songs altogether. And yeah, they're strategically placed in an order that will make sense later, because every single one of those songs tells my story from beginning to end, and they're all in an order that explains everything that had happened, and they're very honest. And I really wanted to just, focus on the songwriting more than anything for this project, because I always have been told, you have a little bit of a twang in your voice, but you're also a rock artist. So how does that work? And for so long, I've been trying to fight that and lean more towards rock or lean more towards country. And this was the first time where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on the lyrics of all of these songs, because I have a story and I want to tell it, and the music is just going to be what it is. It is going to be a bit rock, it is going to be country. It's what it is, and I really hope that people just focus on the songs more than anything. And even when we started doing PR for Scars, it was funny because some places are like, oh, this is country, and some places are like, oh, this is rock. So it already started happening, that conversation, and it is what it is. And it's been landing on both country and rock. So it's been really exciting, and I can't wait. And it's the first time ever I just didn't care about genre or about trying to fit a mold or an image. I just started trying to be who I am and hoping that people could just see my heart in that.
Yeah, because when you are authentically yourself and like you are focused on the lyrics, you find your community, you find your people, you have your ride and die fans.
Yes.
And when you open up for rock artists or country artists or whatever it might be, or doesn't matter.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, but it's country, but it's rock, but it's this, and I like it. And those lyrics, oh my gosh, I went through something similar. So it's like you said, it's about the lyrics. It's not about, is this, going to be in top 10 of country radio? It's
Yes.
this is someone very vulnerable that is the vulnerability, I think, will always win. You have to be true to yourself as an artist. I feel like, and this being in the music industry, sometimes it's like you need to wear your hair a certain way. Oh my gosh, we want you to dress like this, and we want to be more this and this, and like then you've heard of people that are like, oh my God, they wanted me to be more pop, or they wanted me to do this, or they wanted me to wear my hair down or dye my hair and just like kind of fit this persona. And you're like, that's not me. That's just
Yeah.
somebody else telling me that I have to fit this mold of who they want me to be. And like, then people know, they're just like, okay, well, that's not really who she is.
Yeah, happens so much, so much. And I could write a book on that whole experience. And it's one of those things too when you're young and you don't know yourself,
Yeah.
it gets in your head. It really does. And it's like, okay, well maybe I should be doing that more. Or maybe this does fit, and at the end of the day it's the music business. So like you do to an extent have to fit some kind of box or mold, but I I let other people dictate what that was for so long that I had no idea what my voice was anymore. And I got to a point where I was just like who am I, honestly? And so that's been the whole process with Scars, and it's very exciting because it has been hard, but it had to happen to get to this project. So
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for it.
And I truly think the best songs, if you just like think of like songs that you gravitate towards,
Yeah.
the best songs come from heartbreak, come from trauma, come from all of that.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, there's the love songs, right? Okay, cool. But like some of the songs that we love literally come from really dark times and
True.
people.
Yep, it's true. And songs that you can, yeah, relate to and help other people through. And like it's, yeah, you have to go through something to make it believable too. You can't
Mhm.
just like sing something that you don't feel because it comes out in your voice, you know?
Yeah. And I really think we live in a day, like currently in 2026, where people are open about things. They're unapologetically themselves.
Yeah.
People talk about mental health. We have men, depending on the men, that talk about going to therapy, which men never used to say they were in therapy for. So I like that we're in a space where people are trying to be vulnerable. And then like with social media, right? Posting that video with you with no makeup on, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm talking about this. But then you posted it and you're like, oh my gosh, like the
Yeah.
floodgates have opened. I don't know what I just did. But then for it to go viral, I think that's what hits on social media. People don't want to see you in makeup, like all dressed up. Like they want to see you by yourself talking about something and
Yeah.
being like, she's a real person.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I think you hit the nail right on the head there. It is such a, it's a scary place, social media, but it's also such a safe place for so many people because they feel like they can talk about things that no one else would talk about, or like our parents wouldn't talk about some of these things, right? Like it's such a different world. And I think it's amazing that we can be open. And yeah, it's, I just hope that continues because it's a really beautiful thing to be able to speak on something that someone else is going through and help even just one person, right? It's worth it. So
Totally, totally worth it. And I feel like some of the feedback you've gotten over these past couple months, you're just like, I'm terrified. This is
yeah.
scary, but I love it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
I love, yeah.
doing all these things, but I'm helping people. And I think it just goes back to when you were teaching and you have an impact on these children and you have an impact on people who hear your music and hear your story. and they're like, oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
went through that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
So I know that you've been working with Liz Rodriguez on new music. Talk to
Yes.
us about this collaboration.
All right. So, what's been very cool with Liz? So, I actually met Liz very early on in my career when I was 13. And I was connected with her through some writers at Sony.
Mhm.
And we were writing for my own project at the time. And this is really cool, actually. I've never have said this publicly in an interview. You're the first person. Um, but we had a song that we had worked on when I was 13 called The Word, and it was a song that she had brought in thinking that I would like, and I loved it. And she had this verse that really was sticking in my head, and so I went home that night, and I felt so wrong to do this. But I went home that night and I had this different idea for the chorus. It was like a completely different melody than she had had. And I talked to my parents about it, and they're like, do not go in there tomorrow and like change the song. Like, the song's perfect. This is Liz Rodriguez. We don't change Liz Rodriguez's song, okay? And I was like, okay, fine. Like, I'm not going to say anything, but I could not get this idea out of my head. And so I went in and I was like, so little and timid. And I was like, Liz, um, do you mind if I just sing you this chorus idea that I had? And she's like, yeah, of course. Like, go ahead. Like, I love that. That's what makes like an artist an artist. Like, sing it. And so I was like, okay, cool. So I started singing it, and she's like, oh my gosh, that's the chorus. Like, we have to do that. And so we ended up rewriting the song. We kept all her original parts and the verses because I just love them so much. And we changed the song, like all the choruses. And when she originally had the song, it was called The Word That Means the Most. And we just changed it to The Word. And it's all about love and the heartbreak and the journey that brings you through. Um, but what was really cool about that was that song sat for years and years and years. And I got a call one day from Liz. This was right before COVID, actually. And she said, hey, she's working on a project with Celine Dion. And she said, I'm doing the Celine Dion Courage record, and she wants to record your version of The Word.
Mm, what?
And I was like, what? Like,
Yeah.
no, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
And said, yeah, she wants to record your version of The Word. And I was like, well, let her, like, please, like, go ahead. And so she had let me know that she's working on her album, and that she's gonna have a couple tracks on the Courage album. And so Celine Dion had actually put vocals on this song, which was amazing. And then we never heard anything back. Well, Celine went through a situation with her health, and tours halted and all that kind of stuff. And then Courage came out during the pandemic. So things were on halt for her because of that. And then the documentary came out, and we had never heard anything about that song. And when I was going through all these songs for Scars, I was like thinking about The Word again for some reason, even though it's been like 15 years since we first looked at the song together.
Mhm.
And I texted Liz, and she was like, this is so crazy. I actually just had this song come up with my manager the other day. We were just talking about it. I can't believe that you're messaging me about this. And we got on the phone and found out that Celine actually hadn't used that song for the Courage album. Um, but she had done some other songs with Liz. And I was like, I don't know, you know, why, but I feel like I have to do this song, and I would love to get into the studio with you and rework it and see what we can do. And she's like, absolutely. So we had this amazing moment together and reconnected about 2 weeks ago, and went through the baby Jaclyn version of The Word, and we changed so many things, and we're very excited. But it's going to be recorded and going to be a part of the bonus tracks on Scars. So that's the story with that song.
Wow.
Yeah,
Girl, that's insane.
it's had a whole life of its own.
That is okay. So the song was originally written at 13.
The song was originally written, yes, at 13.
And okay, so I just want to go back because you were like, oh, I kind of want to rework that. And then you brought it to
Yeah,
her. Loved it. Celine loved it. I mean, obviously, we know that Celine went through those, the stuff with her health and
yeah.
everything. And it's kind of like a full circle moment because, like, if Celine did it, that would have been amazing.
Oh,
Like,
insane.
and the fact that she did a little bit on it means like that's pretty wild too to even get a
Yeah,
piece of music in front of her. Like at that
it,
point,
girl,
well,
it's like mind blowing. Yeah, it's crazy.
totally.
Yeah,
So to know that it came full circle and it's coming back to you and it's
yeah,
released, wow, I
yeah.
am so excited to hear this just because,
Thank
right,
you.
like had been sitting and then you kind of like put a different spin on it. So,
Yeah.
incredible. So that video that you posted, that was kind of the what was
Yeah,
happening.
that was us reworking the song out, and then I go to the studio on Friday to do some more stuff on it, and then first week of May we do vocals, so I'm very excited. It's all happening very quick.
Yes, so
Yeah,
that is so
so
exciting.
exciting. Yeah,
And
but you're the first person that knows the backstory on that one, so that's
girl,
we have
that's
not we
live
have not shared
exclusive.
that yet. Yeah,
That's Cash Live exclusive, and I am so happy that you just mic dropped that because that was a story. Like
it was crazy. Yeah,
so awesome. So you also recently posted a video about feeling busy and exhausted.
yeah.
I would love to talk about balancing your career, but also protecting your creativity and well being. Can you speak a little bit on that?
Yeah. I would say for myself, I've always just been so like go, 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 go type A personality all the time and never left even just a moment for myself to work on self care or anything. And I had a call with somebody who was helping mentor just my career last year. And he was telling me the importance of, he works with a couple big artists, and he was telling me the importance of a routine. And especially when you start going on tour, because he's like, it just takes so much out of your body and your health. And you really just got to make sure that you're in a good spot. And so I really started focusing on that last year, and I read this book, and the first thing was eat the frog in the morning, which is like do the thing that you hate the most in the morning.
Definitely.
And for me, I hate working out. Like I don't like it at all. And it's very difficult for me. And so I started just putting myself under stress, honestly, and working out in the morning and eating the things I didn't like in the morning to try to be healthy. And, just going right into my music and reading books and just all this stuff. But self care to me has just become one of my favorite times in the morning. I wake up, I read my Bible, do a devotional, just get my mind in a good spot, go to the gym, do a run or elliptical or whatever, just to get my heart rate up and my lungs moving. And then I just work on music. And it's just been, for me, such a cool transformation because I always thought that I had to put 100 into it every single time. And that's how I'd get results. And then I'd burn out and be like, oh, I hate doing this. But it's really just little tiny bits every single day and they start adding up. So I was
Mhm.
like, okay, it's okay. Like, I'm not going to beat myself up if I can't do an hour workout. Like, let's do 30 minutes, or let's do 10. Like, just something to keep that routine in. So, yeah, I'm consistent with it 5 days a week. And I really try to balance my me time in the morning because when I don't have it, everything else suffers, to be
Mhm.
honest. But I think I'm still trying to figure out how to balance like friendships as well and just everything else because it's hard. It's really difficult when you're go 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 all the time and doing all this stuff to give everyone equal attention. And my friends have been awesome to understand when I am busy, but also it's tricky. It's really tricky to try to manage it all and I'm still learning, but self-care is really important to
Mhm.
me. I'm trying to get better at it.
Yeah. But I like the thing that you said about a routine in the morning because I think when you wake up, right, it really sets the tone for the day. Like
It
what
does.
working out and just getting it out of the way and like you said, eat the frog because I what book was that?
I'm trying to remember, to be honest. Um, because I read it just like a couple months ago, and I was in Florida, and there, maybe the title will come back to me, but there was like 10 different things that you have to do to be successful. And that
Yeah.
was the first one. It's like eat a
Hmm.
frog. And so it stuck with me.
I love that though, because, right, we always have these things that we need to do. And it's like
Mhm.
also working out, it's great for your body, but it is more of a mind thing.
Oh
Because,
gosh. Yeah.
like, think about it. And I feel like you can identify with this. When you are going through crazy stuff, whatever it might be, you go to the gym, you run it out, you're on the elliptical, you're lifting weights, you're like, it's an issue, but it's not big as an issue that it was right before, because I feel like when I get in my head, I'm like, oh my God, this is such an issue. And then I go to the gym or I work out and I was like, it's an issue, but it's not as huge of an issue as I was thinking it to be. So for
Oh,
me, it's like, right? Like, do you feel that way as well?
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I think it's just like for myself, because I'm challenging myself and I'm pushing myself through something that I absolutely hate,
Mhm.
then the things that are going on and that are hard in my life don't seem as hard because I'm like, okay, well, I know that I'm doing it in the gym, or I know that I'm doing it with just other things that I don't love, or practicing something complicated on guitar, or whatever it is. It's like, okay, if I've done the hard thing there, I can do the hard thing somewhere else. So it's definitely a mental thing as well for me.
Yeah, I think having that mental strongness and just being like, because the mindset, when you go through crazy stuff, your mindset has to be in check, because if it's not, you're just like, oh my gosh, I feel like a puddle.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you gotta you just gotta go and just do it. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, like it is what it is, but it really something starts changing in your mind. And it's like, okay, yeah, of course I like, I feel better. I'm like breathing better when I'm on stage, and I feel healthier, but mentally it's crazy. Crazy what it can do.
Yeah. I think mental health is so important. And I think it's one of those things that everybody needs to carve out the time for, whether it's therapy, whether it's talking to friends, whether it's just meditating. I just think there's so many amazing things that you can do for yourself just to show up better and just be a better human and just be like, okay, everything is falling apart around me, but like, it's okay. Like,
And
it's, it's not great, but
yeah,
I'm glad I'm doing the mindset thing, because,
yeah,
if I can kind of
yeah.
handle
Everything's fine.
everything is
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
So, something that we've noticed is there's a strong visual identity with the color red in this new era. I would love to talk about what that represents for you.
Yeah, so when I was going through scars, I was like, I just feel like red was the color that I just kept seeing. And I kept seeing it in my outfits and on the cover work and everything. And red to me was never a color that I loved. I'm like, I'm a baby blue girl. Like, I love, you know, that color. I don't love red. But as I was going through this whole entire experience, it was like, oh my goodness, that's all I'm seeing for this. I'm seeing like fire and fierce and resilience and confidence. And red was the mood of all of that. And I just wanted to convey that onto every single theme that I was doing. It's like that in between color of, I've been through the gray area and the black and the dark area, but now it's like the red and the brighter colors are going to come from that. And so it's really it's been cool for all of my branding, and I love it.
Yeah, I think it really suits who you are, where you are, the story that you're trying to tell. It was just funny when you hopped on here and I saw the red, and I was like, oh my gosh, she is like so on brand with it, which I'm digging. And then when you dug the fact that it was like resilience and confidence and just leaning into that, I was like, that actually makes perfect sense.
Yes, yeah, this is scars. It had to be this color, and it's everything that it represents.
Love that. So my very final question for you. You just played a music festival last night, and I
I did.
would love to hear how the show was, the reception, and just kind of have you talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, it was very fun. So it's called Roots North Festival here in Canada, and it's amazing. They have the whole entire city come together, and there's artists playing everywhere. like
Mhm.
literally everywhere. Restaurants, they take over the churches here, they take over music halls, and it's a very cool event. So I got to be a part of that, and I showcased a bunch of songs from Scars and did some of my favorite originals, and we just had a great time. It was so much fun.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. So fun. And I love that you're out and about playing all this new music because, right, then you're getting reception from
Yeah.
people. People are coming up to you, and then you can see like the faces of people when you're playing these songs.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like they're starting to feel less and less scary every time, and it's been really exciting to see that and see the reception of it. But it's lots of new shows coming out this summer, so I'm really excited.
Love that. So, question, were you terrified last night or were you like excited?
No, I was excited. It was really just that first show, to be honest with you. And after that, still I do get nervous before I sing. I It's more excitement though for me than it is nerves. But as soon as I hit the very first song, I'm fine. Like I'm ready to go and I'm so excited. And with Scars, it's been taking a little bit longer to get there in the middle of the set, or it comes in waves, but I'm definitely at a better spot with it, and I'm just really excited and I'm embracing it, and I feel so good with all these songs and how they're being received.
Amazing. Well, Jaclyn, that's all the time that we have for this evening. But for my beautiful people that are out in the crowd watching right now, tell them how they can support you. I know you said you have some shows coming up, so plug what's happening.
All right. So yeah, there's a bunch of shows coming out that will be announced on socials very soon in the next month. And there's a single coming out May 8th called I Don't Trust Nobody, which I'm very pumped about. And yeah, everything is just going to be on my social media, so you can go check out Jaclyn Kenyon Music. And I would just love you to follow my journey and support.
Amazing. Any final words for the room?
Final words for the room. I would say never stop doing what you love, never stop believing in yourself. And if you ever go through something that breaks you, but you know in your heart that you're supposed to keep going, do it. Don't let anybody break you. There's no one that's going to do anything that you're going to be able to do, and you're the one to do it. So just keep moving forward and listen to your heart, and keep going, because you never know who you're touching along the way, and you're going to heal yourself in it.
So powerful. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for being so open about your journey, what you've gone through, what you continue to go through. I think it's really important to be vulnerable in your artistry, and I feel like when you are speaking your truth, people are like, "Oh my gosh, I can resonate with that. She's like a real person," versus all this like fabricated stuff that we see on social media. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's too much of that.
Way
But
too much.
yeah, thank you so much, because it definitely is it hasn't been an easy season, but it's been a rewarding season, and I'm really excited to see how it all pins out.
Yes, I am so excited to be on this journey with you. I'm
Yeah.
so happy that we met because of this show, and happy that you came on, you talked about scars. Definitely going to be in touch and definitely need to dig into this EP once it's out in the universe. So, Jack, thank you so much for coming on my show. Guys, if you don't already, please make sure to follow Jaclyn on all of her socials. And if you're new here, I'm Ashley Live. This is Vibe with Ashley Live, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a great night.
See you guys. Bye.